Hi, I'm Cecily Kellogg. I'm a writer, content creator, marketer, and social media manager, and I'm here today to talk to you about getting people to take action on your blog. We all want somebody to do something on our blog. We want them to read our posts. We want them to comment, share, whatever it is. You want people to take action. So what we're going to do today is talk about how to specifically encourage and entice people to take that action. So the first thing you need to do, and now I'm going to switch into using some language that's more sales based. So if you're a personal blogger, it might seem a little awkward, but we're going to talk about conversions. A conversion means when you convert somebody from a visitor to a customer. So that means that when you get somebody to actually take that action you want them to take on your blog, then they've converted. So you need to determine for you what a conversion is. What do you want people to do on your blog? What action do you want them to take? You need to sit down and think about that. Here's a few possibilities. You can ask people to comment. You can ask people to share. These are probably the most common. You can ask people to subscribe to your blog. You can ask people to sign up for an email newsletter. You can ask people to click an affiliate link. You can ask them to download some sort of printable or downloadable, make a purchase of an ebook, register for an event, whatever it is. You need to figure out exactly what action you want your visitors, your readers to take. And then you need to set up ways for them to make it easier for them to do so. Okay? So first, determine what a conversion is for your blog. What is exactly you want your readers to do? Secondly, you need to create calls to action. A call to action is pretty obvious. It's just a way to say, hey, please do this. I want you to do this on my blog. Will you do it, please? So it can be done in myriad ways. You can ask a question at the end of a blog post to try to encourage people to comment. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say some hard news, which is that conversations about stuff you've written often take place off your blog, on Facebook, on Twitter. Commenting is just kind of not the thing it was back when I first started blogging in 2004. Commenting in 2004 was all there was. There was no social media back then. So we had to make do with just that. And, you know, and it fostered a real sense of community, which I think is something I really miss from the dark ages of blogging. Also, this day, the money is more on getting people to do social sharing of your stuff. So making it easy for people to do social sharing is really important. You need to have, usually if you have a blog that's hosted on WordPress, you need some sort of sharing plugin that allows people to, at the end of a post or in the middle of a post or the top of a post, to quickly and easily share it. I also really love the click to tweet feature, which is where you highlight something that's particularly quotable in your blog post, and people can just do a one-time click, and then it'll go immediately and share that quote. I think that's a really effective thing, and you can test different quotes within an article or blog post to see what generates the most clicks. So that's always fun. Things to think about is that you want your things like your affiliate links, you want them to be very prominent. I recommend putting them earlier in your blog post rather than at the end, but always, always, always remember to disclose when you're doing that. Tell people that if they click that link, you get money. It's really important. Like, it's the law. You might want to put your newsletter or subscribe call to action above the fold. And if you don't remember that above the fold is an old newspaper term, meaning that the front page of a newspaper is what gets read the most. So the top half of the front of the newspaper is what gets read the most. So you want your, newsletter or subscribe calls to actions to be very prominent before people scroll. You can also use pop-ups, which we'll talk about in the next section a little more. Don't forget your sidebar and don't forget your footer. Both of those places are good places to place call to actions. You can have multiple call to actions throughout your blog. Just remember to not be too obnoxiously optimizing your calls to action. So how do you make your calls to action effective? Buttons are a big thing, especially anything that is directly sales related. Whatever it is that you use, whether it's a button, whether it's text, just make sure it is extremely clear that that is a clickable link that people will go. And remember always to click, when you click something like that, to go to a new tab, not a new page. You don't want them to leave your site if you can help it. And also remember that you should place them prominently, and this is where I'm going to talk about pop-ups. Pop-ups are a necessary evil. We all know how obnoxious they can be. I find them the least obnoxious when they come, say, a minute or more in to your visit to the site, so you're not getting a pop-up within 10-15 seconds. Or when you scroll, because if you're scrolling on a site, if you're scrolling down to finish reading a blog post, you're clearly invested in that site, and that's a good time to serve that pop-up. And also, like I said, you want to make sure your sharing buttons for social media are really crystal clear and prominent. Now, lastly, I want to talk about social media and how social media is a place where you put a lot of your calls to action to get people to come back to your blog, right? So how do you optimize them? Your social media updates that will get the best conversion rate, because social media updates have conversions too. Even if that conversion is simply coming to your blog or retweeting or whatever it is. So here's what you do. Remember, first and foremost, you are fighting content saturation. It's a tough world out there. Everybody is producing content in massive quantities, and you need your stuff to stand out. That means you need to be crisp and clear and simple in your headlines, in your tweets, in your social media updates. So always remember to, you can test your headlines, you can test your calls to action in social media. This is one of the great things, especially on Twitter, man, because tweets are gone in a second. So you can test 5 different bits of copy in your tweets to see what causes the most click-through rate. And that can give you great information about whether or not you should go back and change the title on that blog post. So yeah, use social media, in particular Twitter, as a place to do A/B testing of your stuff. Don't use the same copy on every platform. I know. It's very frustrating to have to write new copy for each platform, but I suggest not only using different copy on each platform, but also trying to use the native placement of that social media update instead of a scheduler. I love Buffer App and I use it, and Hootsuite is great, and all of them. But I really prefer to go in and schedule directly on Facebook rather than use the Buffer App to schedule stuff. So use what works for you though. Okay? So that is your quick and dirty conversion guide, or getting people to take action on your blog. Remember, 1, determine what action you want them to take. 2, create calls to action that are effective and getting people to take that action that you want them to take. 3, optimize your calls to action. And remember to optimize your social sharing so that you get conversions there too. Okay? That's it from me today.